Hey, LT.
Oh shit, boss, you here now? I am. Yeah, it's pictures.
Hey, good morning. I was gonna say good morning. Good afternoon, y'all. Can anybody try and say something? I think I'm having issues with my mic.
I hear you loud
Can
and
you,
clear.
anyone?
Hear you loud and clear.
Okay, good enough. There you go.
Just like this, huh? Oh.
What's everyone doing?
Good.
I think I have, how many board members do I have? Emily, Jumirna, and just about every agency that's about to give the report is here with us. Who else? Who's the person with the 914 number? Can you identify yourself? How are you?
Good, how are you?
Cold. It's cold out. What is it, like 30 something?
Yeah, it's pretty cold.
Yeah, it's like low 30s. Listen, everyone else, just you, me, and Emily are here on the call. Give it a few more minutes and then we're gonna get started.
Eleazar, I think Emily that's on the call is from it's not a board member. I forget. It's from the traffic.
From
I
where?
forgot.
On point?
Granted District 3.
There you go.
And it's not Emily, it's just her name. It's Officer Kingston. I'm sitting in for her today.
Okay.
But you could call me Emily if you want.
That's a very masculine Emily for my take. I think a lot of us were mixed with the time. And being on Wednesday, the first Wednesday of the month, was the meeting time.
Yeah, that's what happened to me last month.
Okay. 7:11. I like that time. Public Safety Committee. Since this is also viewed on YouTube and Facebook, there's more people in the room that we may see here on the Zoom call. Plus, this is gonna be recorded on YouTube as well. So this will be the minutes of this meeting, and welcome each and every one of you for being here today and taking the time on a very cold day, very cold night, to at least come and participate in what is usually the space in which a lot of the agencies in charge of our public safety in our community come and give a sense of what's happening and hear our questions and hear some of the grievances that many or some of us may have, but at least we get to talk about them in a respectful space like the Public Safety Committee in Community Board 12. So having said that, I'm gonna get started by the usual suspects. I'm gonna mix it up a little, make this less boring, and start with my dear friend Sandra Sanchez and a report from the fire department. See if we're getting in some positive things from your agency, Sandra. Well,
good evening, everyone. And though it's February 1st, I still gonna say it. Happy Happy New Year to you all. Want to just share with you some fire safety tips. We've discussed this time and time again that winter season correlates with fire season for many reasons. Some of the top causes happen to be cooking, space heaters, overpowered electrical cords, and the new hot topic on the block, which is lithium-ion batteries. Our fire safety education team, FDNY CAU, we are here to proactively educate the community. Thankfully, thus far in this year, we have not had a fatal fire within the confines of Manhattan Community Board 12, and I hope to continue that streak. It's my wish that that streak continues for the entire city, but we know that to not be the case. We have had, unfortunately, some fatal fires. Notably, there was a large one that took place in Queens several weeks ago, and the cause was lithium-ion batteries. On our platform, FDNY Smart, that is our educational resource hub. We encourage you to take a look. You never need our permission to share that information with your constituent base. And furthermore, if you would like to invite us, I encourage you to reach out to myself at sandra.sanchez@fdny.nyc.gov. Also want to mention February happens to be Burn Awareness Month. So I'm going to jump right into cooking, one of our, all year round, one of the top causes of fire. So while you are cooking, while you are using, because water can burn as well, not necessarily cooking, but water has a power to scald you as well. We want to make sure that you are being safe and taking care of the burns. I think there are many old wives' tales about what we can do when one gets burned, but you want to make sure that you cool the burn, running the burn under cold water for about a minute or two to help heal the wound and ease the pain. So we ask that you run the water for 10 to 15 minutes, not just a second, to ease the pain. Secondly, cover the burn. Cover the burn with sterile material to protect the skin from infection. And third, call. If this is a deep or extensive burn of any size, call 911. EMS, our paramedics, are here for you. Lastly, I want to share this because I know I grew up with this old wives' tale. Don't put toothpaste on your burn. Toothpaste is only for your teeth. And certainly don't put butter because you don't plan on baking whatever you have burned on your skin. So we want to be very mindful in sharing those fire safety tips, and to hear more and to learn more. Again, we are here for you. Sandra Sanchez. That's sandra.sanchez@fdny.nyc.gov.
thank you, Sandra. Has there been any fire incidents? I think there was one in Thayer Avenue about 2 weeks ago. Are you aware of that?
I get the entire city. So let me check and I will circle back with you, but no pressing ones come to mind. But it's not to say that it didn't happen and that there may not have been property damage.
Okay, thank you, Sandra. Ira Gusserhorn says thank you for the repeat. So that's a public shout out that he just got. And also from Julio Batista, question: do you know what happened to the proposal to utilize closed newsstands as charging stations for e-bikes? Sandra, are you with us?
Yes, I am with you. Julio, is Julio a board member, or do you have a way to contact Julio?
Julio, can you post your email address?
And if you don't feel comfortable, Julio, you have my email. Reach out to me. I'm gonna circle back to give you an answer on that. What I do say is that the proposal of the old newsstands and bike stations is not solely a FDNY initiative. So it is a cross collaboration, more so with some other agencies. So I want to be able to give him a real update on that.
All right. So the Julio is our honorary board member. He will be a board member for as long as he wants to be a board member. Jermina?
Thank you. Hey, Sandra. I just wanted to ask if there are any updates from the fire that occurred on 163rd Street and Broadway.
When did this fire occur, Jermina?
I believe January.
I do not want to hold up your meeting. Jermina, I know I have your contact information. I will give you, and I'll look it up. And if I don't have the update, I will check with our marshals to provide one for you tomorrow, okay?
Thank you, Sandra.
Okay.
Thank you, Sandra, for always being so attentive and very on point with our answers and also following through. I like that from you. So we're gonna stay with our ladies here. So from the director of the Washington Heights or Upper Manhattan DS office, Jocelyn Minaya, will also announce a special treat that we get in the next month agenda meeting. So Jocelyn,
I get to announce.
You get to announce. So ladies do.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So good evening, everyone. Such a pleasure to see you all. I don't know what Eli's talking about, it being cold. It is winter, by the way, so it should be cold. We should be worried when it's not cold. But yes, I appreciate everyone coming out tonight as well. It's always my pleasure to attend CB12's public safety meeting. And I'm with Sandra. Again, Happy New Year to everyone. So I have partnered with your good chair, and he has a wonderful idea for the next meeting, which is to have someone from my office come and present on the issue of wage theft. And I think, Eli, by the time we do the next meeting, you're going to be even happier because there's going to be some new announcements regarding the construction fraud / wage theft unit. So we'll be able to announce it at the next meeting. It'll be a presentation. It's very informational. I know that Eli and I partnered to give a similar presentation to some asylum seekers from a school where they were receiving their OSHA training, and it was very powerful being able to partner with Eli to be able to present to our new citizens, our new immigrants. So next meeting, which I believe is March the 1st as well, Eli. That's what we're going to partner with you to do. So I hope everyone can join us and bring any questions. If you have any locations beforehand, or if you've received any complaints from anyone about possible wage theft or anything, if you can get that to Eli or to myself beforehand, so we could possibly look into things and maybe be able to report back during our presentation as well. And then I only have two other announcements. So our high school summer internship program, the application process has kicked off. It's open. Please encourage high school students to go online to apply for the summer internship program. It's going to be in person, finally, after a 3-year virtual sessions. We're going to be in person, and we're very happy to be able to open up the office again for our students to come in and be with us during the summer. So it's a 6-week program. It's going to start July the 10th to August the 25th. The only requirements are that the students either live in Manhattan or go to school in Manhattan, and it's open for current sophomores, juniors, and seniors. They do receive a stipend. It's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for them to decide whether they want to pursue a career in law enforcement or government, whether it be the DA's office, NYPD, special narcotics, whatever it is that might interest them. This is a wonderful opportunity for them to see, behind the scenes, in the trenches, what we do on a day-to-day basis in the DA's office. And if anyone is interested, there's going to be an informational session for students this month, February the 22nd from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. I'm going to send the flyers to Eli so that he can please share with the Public Safety Committee. If anyone's interested or any student is interested, they're encouraged to sign up, and they will receive the Zoom information for that virtual session, which will be on February 22nd. So the last thing that I want to share today is we're going to have, and this is for Superintendent Miller as well. I'm sure that Vincent has reached out to you already. We're having our 3rd annual reentry resource fair and suit giveaway. That's going to be next Saturday, February the 11th at Union Baptist Church at 240 West 145th Street from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. All are welcome. And it promises to be, a wonderful activity. Superintendent Miller, I did take back your request for us to be able to partner with you again in being able to provide professional clothing for your participants. So Vincent was very excited to tell me, well, we got this going. So I'm hoping that you got the flyer ready. If not, I'll send it to you tomorrow.
Please send it to me.
Okay, I'm surprised that Vincent hasn't gotten it to you, but I definitely will send it to you. And then there's also going to be an employment fair later on in April. So I'll be sure to send you that as well. As we all know, and Superintendent Miller is one of our partners and a staunch advocate in terms of reentry. We have to give people the opportunity, and we have to set them up right. We have to set them up for success rather than failure. So if we have resources in place to make sure that people that are reentering into our community have all the resources that they need to be able to reintegrate into the community and have a second chance, why not put these things in place instead of setting up people for failure and then recidivism and so on and so forth, and the revolving door, and there you go. You've heard us speak of that many times, but we're very excited to be able to host this 3rd annual resource fair, and I'll get you that information. Superintendent and Eli, I will send it to you as well, so that you can share with the rest of the committee. And unless anyone has any questions for me, that is all that I have for today.
Any questions? No, just a good set of news, but I thought you were gonna, I guess it's my duty to pretty much break out the announcement. Jermaine, you're gonna like it too. So it didn't really come out in the news, especially in the US newspapers. But British Columbia, Canada province, just announced the legalization of the possession of hard drugs, anything below 2.5 grams. They're gonna have a pilot program for 3 years, and they're gonna transition. They're gonna decriminalize these hard drugs and turn it into a mental health situation instead of a criminal situation. So it's pretty exciting. I just Google it, British Columbia decriminalization of drugs, and read the article because it's pretty interesting. I think they're at the vanguard of where we should be in a few years down the road. It's pretty good to know that some countries are taking the initiative in things that in getting the treatment or giving the treatment to disease rather than criminal activity. So be curious and search it. So if you have to go, Jocelyn, I get it. I know you. I hope you get better. See you tomorrow if you get better.
Thank you.
Okay, from the 33rd precinct, I'm assuming that I have Sergeant Rodriguez, right?
Hey, good evening, everyone. Sergeant Rodriguez here. How's everyone doing?
How's it going? Looking forward to
Good,
hearing
thank
your
you.
numbers.
Yeah, so you ready? So let's start off with so overall, right now in the 28-day period, the 3-3 precinct were actually up 9% in crime. With the breakdown is in robberies, we're up 112% in robberies. We're up 23% in felony assaults. We're up 10% in burglaries. We're down 4% in grand larcenies, and grand larcenies GLAs, we're down 26%.
You said 112% in robberies?
Yes, correct.
What kind of robberies are these? Can you go into details as to the type of robbery?
Yeah, so we do have a pattern of robberies in our precinct right now. It's a commercial robberies. It's one gentleman going into the commercial establishments, bodegas, restaurants, with a firearm robbing the commercial establishments. I can't go too much details, but we have identified the perpetrator, and we're currently seeking him out. He's did about 7 robberies so far in their precinct. Questions?
Does anyone have any questions? Jamirna? No?
No, no questions.
I did see that you guys have increased the number of foot patrol agents. I've seen them usually in the Broadway area, 160th, and also by Amsterdam.
Yes, those are that's our field training unit. Those are like the new recruits that just came out the academy.
Okay.
So they have a supervisor assigned to them. They have 2 shifts. They work from 10 to 7, and then from 7 to 3 in the morning, I believe, something like that, or 2 in the morning.
Yeah, it's really good. They're noticeable, and I think it's needed. I think that people, it's a deterrent in my mind of having police presence as good as it has been in the past couple of months. So thank you, Sergeant, and my congrats to you and Deputy. I think you have questions from Superintendent Miller.
Hey, good evening, Sarge. Was the 3-3 involved in that big gang takedown that took place recently?
Yes, we were. That was our precinct. Yeah, we're mainly our precinct. Yes, we were working on that job for a very long time.
That was pretty big. That was significant.
Yeah,
So
it took a long time, like more than a couple of years for that.
This is the takedown in 161st and Broadway?
161st Broadway, 174. Everything within confines. We've been working on it with the feds, and it's been a long time.
Yeah, that was like Superintendent Miller's. That was pretty big. I saw a bunch of different agencies in there.
Yeah.
From feds and you guys, of course.
Yep.
yeah, good work.
Thank you. Thank you for looking at.
You got it.
All right, appreciate that, Sergeant Rodriguez. My congrats to Natalie. Good
Thank
job.
you. I'll let him know.
All right. From the 34th, I know it says Christian Perez. Were you sergeant or lieutenant? You gotta unmute yourself. Can't hear you yet.
All right. Good evening. Good evening.
Perfect.
Sergeant Ahmed in the 34 precinct, and let me just read some of the numbers for you. So overall, crime-wise, we are down minus 12.9%. That's within all the 7 major categories. Murder, rape, burglary, grand larceny, GLAs. We are down tremendously. Only 2 categories that we are trending in. It's going to be the robberies and felony assaults. Robberies, we are up 145 and 145%, and felony assaults, we are up 90%. To combat those 2 sectors, those 2 crimes, we have a whole lot of deployment deployed within the precinct. When you boil it down, especially the robbery crime, it's occurring sometime within like this hour or a little bit later to like the 5 a.m., 6 a.m. Hours, so overnight. So overnight is the main focus, especially the weekend. And all of our specialized function and regular patrol and outside units, they're out here in the Inwood area and everything. And we see huge amount of enforcement, which is leading to gun arrest, robbery arrest. There's been like great arrests that cops have made just within this month of January. So a lot of work is being done in regards to that. Yeah.
Yes, on the robberies, how do you feel have been the most common type of robberies? Assault, how do they been?
Assaults are, so let's just talk about the assaults. Assaults are mixed in with the domestic assaults. With those, any piece of household appliance could be used, which could make it a felony assault type of situation. In the robbery sector, the ones that we are, even though like we're gonna focus on everything robbery related, but the one that sticks out are gonna be the gang related affiliated robberies where they go around in cars with guns and jump out on people, stick them up, grab whatever they got on them, which would be the jewelry, cash, phones, and those would be the ones that stick out, that pop out, like mostly. And once again, like we'll focus on everything, but the ones that will stick out would be the ones with gang activity.
And how about we've gotten a lot of reports from the restaurant and club owners in 207 between Broadway and 10th Ave. But a specific gang, I think that were in most of the videos show a white Jeep Cherokee.
Mm-hmm.
You see them. I don't know if I'm sure you've seen the videos because they all over the place.
Yeah, plenty of. I think I know which one you're talking about. These are all like ongoing investigations by different units. There's plenty of intel floating around. Like I mentioned, that in terms of these robberies, it's mostly they're using vehicles, which are like high-end vehicles sometimes. And those would be the ones that they would use as getaway to commit the crime, hold someone up. That could be a commercial robbery or someone just walking down the street minding their own business. And they would jump out on them, get into their vehicle, do the robbery, get back into their vehicle, and then just, flee the scene. That's like the ones that stick out a lot.
Yeah, are there any updates on the murder that took place on Nagel Avenue, rather outside the bodega?
I think I know which one you're talking about, but just give me a few. And I'm not sure if there was an arrest made in that regards.
Okay.
It was?
Yeah.
It was? Okay, yeah, so there was an arrest made in that
Oh,
regards.
there was an arrest.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it'd be nice if, because I know Sergeant or Detective Pabay, she has all of our emails. Is some sort of announcement could be made in that regard, because we've been asked and approached by several community residents in that sense. So
Okay.
that'll be a deal. So thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah, we're
Sorry,
here.
are you referring to the one where the gentleman was with his child?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can give you information if you'd like.
Okay. All right. Can you go ahead?
Yeah, so the defendant, Joseph Morrow, he was indicted for fatally shooting the victim, Tykeem Berry, outside of the bodega in Inwood. Let's see, as we all know, it shocked the whole Inwood community. The victim sadly was with his 10-year-old daughter at the time. It began with an argument inside of the bodega, which spilled to the outside. But when Mr. Berry entered the bodega again, Mr. Moros fired his gun, fatally striking Mr. Berry, and then he fled. He was caught a few days later, but he has been indicted. He's being charged with murder in the second degree and criminal possession of a weapon in the second degree. Class C felony, 2 counts, and Class A felony, 1 count. Is there any more information that you would like?
I think that's enough to learn that a bad actor has been caught. That's pretty
Yeah.
good to know. And Jermina, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask the precinct if there's been any updates around the Inwood Bar and Grill situation, since we didn't hear directly after the case. So I was just wondering if there's any updates around the person who may have been involved.
I think the hit and run situation, the hit and run incident you're referring to, correct?
Yes.
The accident?
Yeah.
Let me check real quick. Do we know anything about the Inwood Bar and Grill?
They have a person of interest, but there's no arrest made.
So there might be a person of interest that the detectives would be looking at, but as of now, there's no arrest. There haven't been any arrests made.
Yeah, because wasn't it like an attempted robbery that went bad, that turned into a hit and run, and then turned into the whole big, mess into the restaurant, from the videos that most of us were able to watch.
The robbery one, with that one, I'm not too sure. I would have to check all of the investigation on that one though.
All right. Okay.
My apologies.
Not a problem. As long as you can get back to us, we'll be
Absolutely.
okay. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for your time.
No problem, sir. Anytime.
Okay. Superintendent Miller.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I missed the January meeting, so I'm glad to be able to see everybody today's meeting. And we value these opportunities. Very quickly on the Canada situation, I remember Canada was actually the first ones to legalize a needle exchange in prison. So they've always kind of been on the forefront of trying to do new things to deal with these difficult, realistic situations. So they just understood that they wanted to stop the spread of disease and that thing. So so that's interesting, the development that you mentioned earlier. I'm still, like anybody else, a little curious about hard drugs, just even in a small amount, how do they impact people? So that's the thing, you know, because it still can impact somebody in driving and operating heavy equipment, you know, so from a public safety perspective, I'd like to see how they monitor that. And also what Sandra brought up with the burning situation. We literally just had a situation today where a gentleman was microwaving eggs in the microwave, which is not the typical way of doing it. And then when he took it out and opened the container, the hot water sprayed on him, and he had to go to the hospital. So it's being very aware when you're in your household about dangers that can happen just without expecting it. Do I have the ability to share my screen? I have a
Yeah,
right.
Chanel,
I should be able to, right?
yeah. If not, I think Chanel can give you host rights so that you can share them.
Yeah, if you please, I have a short presentation I'd like to share that kind of summarizes how we've been doing since we started the pilot program back in August. It's been going very well. We thought it was important, obviously, to be a good neighbor. The residents that have been coming through, to my knowledge, and I try to keep up this, no one has, been arrested in the precinct, done anything in the neighborhood. They've been good neighbors. They've been very glad to come to Edgecombe and have the opportunity to get all the wraparound services and resources. And they definitely know it's better than being in a DHS system. So let me know when I have the ability to share my screen. I also definitely, our relationship with the DA's office is excellent. It was Vincent that started us off with a donation that started our men's boutique, and it's just been very successful. The gentleman has been able to get professional clothing for interviews and things of that nature, and we've expanded it also to have casual clothes, because honestly, when somebody comes home, they don't especially if they were going to be going to the shelter, they don't have a lot. So we've gotten a lot of genuine donations from staff, from Albany, from churches. The state is actually looking to start a relationship with the Gap. So we're waiting for that to kick in, but that'll be for all across the state where they want to donate casual clothes or like business casual things that people can wear, and even give clothes when somebody's leaving the facility. So those are the kind of things that we definitely like to do. Also, since we've had CANI, New York, that's the Correctional Association of New York, came into the site visit to the facility. They're an oversight group for all the prisons in New York State. So they came and did a visit yesterday, and they were very pleased with what they saw. They were pleased with the direction that the department is going in, and we are a pilot. We're the first one, and their assessment of what we're doing so far is they actually thought it could be duplicated in other parts of the state. So that's the kind of thing you'd like to see when you do a pilot, that it can be viewed successful and expanded to give those opportunities to people all across the state. So I look forward to that opportunity. Are we going to be able to do the screen sharing or not?
I just texted Chanel, and she might be.
Okay, I think I can. Yeah, she just did it.
She just did it. Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Good.
All right. So desktop, PowerPoint. See what this will do. Allow Zoom to share. Okay. Screen recording. All right. Can you hold on? Open. Yes. Yes. I have to give permission. Okay. Use password. No problem. Everything protects everything. That's good. Unlock. What are we doing?
You okay? You need help?
Hold on. I don't know. Screen, let's see. Are you guys seeing you're not seeing it, right?
No, not yet, no.
Have what I want to show. Share, press share.
There you go.
Okay, you see it now? All right, excellent.
Yes.
All right, so all right, here we go.
We are committed to moving people from the criminal justice system into stability. And that's why we're so excited about every last one of you being here today, so that we can be able to create a partnership with you all as you're obtaining your jobs.
So much potential, not just in Edgecombe itself and the governor's intent for that to be a soft landing for people coming home from prison, a pilot project that could be replicated across the state and maybe country. But so much potential in each one of you.
This is my second day at Edgecombe, and look at me, I'm already here, reform, building partnerships, and I'm getting started. So I think Edgecombe is great. I think it's great for real.
We are here to ensure that you have a transition that allows you to get connected to your family, your community, in ways that you can be proud about, you can be happy about. Reform is a partner for you in this.
Knowledge is potential. Action is power. Today is action. Today is where you actually see the job readiness training come into play, the resume preparation, the mock interviews, the clothing, all the things that have been behind the scenes. Today is where you see it all in action.
Someone looking to make a difference, and small people who want better for themselves. Thank you for everyone for their support on that, and to make something like this happen. And make sure that these are not just a one-time project, but something that can be built so that we can continue to work, continue to expose people to the opportunities that they need to succeed.
This class was not just about coding. It's ones and zeros, and just like any language, we just need to be taught how to speak it and how to make the computer the one thing that doesn't care what you did 10 years ago.
I understand where you're sitting now. I understand the difficulties. I understand what you're facing. And I also understand the courage it takes to be here.
As we started doing this last year, I was still on parole. So my thing today is just to show people I'm only 3 years out of prison and done all this. So just to show that it's possible. I'm all about inspiration today.
Like if I didn't come here, I felt like I'd be selling myself short. Taking advantage of this was probably the best decision I've made since I came home.
Thank you. So that's a little summary of a job fair that we did. Thank you. We've had very good outcomes. We've had, I'm going to see if I could stop screen sharing now. How do you stop? All right, we stopped screen sharing, right? Okay, thank you. So what we've been able to do is leverage partnerships. So we're working with Reform Alliance, who came to us from Chamber, the governor's office. They're a group that's very focused on employment. They have resources and they bring employers that want to deal with criminally justice involved individuals and are willing to hire them. What we do is make sure they do job readiness. Most of them had clothing out of our men's boutique. We work with them on their resumes, and we do work with them on mock interviews. We work with them on how to talk about things they learned while incarcerated, as well as skills that they had before they went to prison. We try to meet the individuals where they're at, understanding that you just want to find something where they can use their powers for good. And so meet somebody. So if somebody, likes to hustle, find them a legal hustle. If somebody is a good talker, give them an opportunity to have information to share and do that. If somebody's good with their hands, if somebody's good with floor maintenance, if somebody's good with mechanics, whatever it may be, they do computer training. Obviously, if you've been away for a while, you may not be, that great on Google or a laptop. They do those kind of basic aspects, and we've just seen it productive. So I want to thank everybody for their support and just let you know that Edgecombe continues to want to be a good neighbor and do things to help people return back to the community. That's my report.
I couldn't say thank you on my personal behalf, and I'm sure that everyone in the room converges with my opinion. Hopefully, I'll get another person here or other people from the room that can tell you thank you for the work that you've been doing and how you've been able to get as much help from different organizations that really do care and really do work on the transitioning of our inmates. I'm gonna also ask you to briefly consider a tour that a colleague of ours, Faye Floridamon, the executive director of Building Bridges, with whom I'm sure you've heard about, I think very high of, would like to come into your facilities and bring some of the youth to come in and see the work you've done. So I'd like to talk to you offline, get your email address, and sort of like, give it a more formality, so
Definitely.
that I pass it along to Faye, and then we can schedule something. Is that okay with you?
Definitely. We would love to do that.
So thank you, Superintendent. I'm moved by what I saw. I'm a child of a second opportunity, so I know, now that I've been in jail, but life puts you in different situations.
Yes.
So thank you.
You're very welcome.
Superintendent, I'm sorry, can I ask you to share your email now? I can't find it, so I can also send you the flyer, please.
Oh, okay. I'll put it, where can I put it to?
I don't see a chat. That's why I didn't ask you directly.
Yeah, no
It's a
chat,
Q&A
right?
session.
All right, I'll put it in the Q&A like it's a.
Yeah, a question, right? I was gonna get it from you a little later. So, from the 34th, didn't really get his name right, but it says Perez. There's a question from an anonymous attendee, whoever that might be. Actually, two questions. One, an update on a shooting from a car between Broadway and Vermilion around Christmas time, in which an innocent bystander was shot and killed. The 64-year-old woman, a 64-year-old woman.
So this is Sergeant Ahmed, and
Sergeant, how are you?
what's the location and what's the date?
Around Christmas time, a shooting from a car, Broadway and Vermilion. A 64-year-old woman. That was the lady that was heading to the supermarket from what we heard. That was actually around noon, 11-ish.
Oh, yes. I know. I think I know which one you're talking about. Just give me a few.
All right, no problem.
Yes.
Yeah. That was a great question. Whoever that anonymous person is. Feel like
Eleazar, the name of the victim is Ortega, Miss Ortega, Valeria Ortega.
Valeria.
And yeah, if they can provide any updates, because the last thing that I read was that the shooter was a 17-year-old and he's currently in the Dominican Republic.
Already?
That's what I read so far, just to clarify. updates.
Yeah. It was Vermillion Dykeman. Stand corrected.
So that location was Dykeman Street and Vermilion Avenue.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, it was in the
December 27th.
correct, yep. And that was in the daytime. There's a wanted flyer out for a 17-year-old perpetrator. And yep, he's still outstanding.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. And second question on the, and I quote, brazen drug activity in 207 as well. Actually, Vermilion between 207 and in Academy, I guess, is that entire little block. Is there any steps taken towards making sure that that is under control?
So that area is within the scope of our deployment. Dykeman, Vermilion, 207. This is where we have enhanced or extensive deployment of police officers, especially during the late hours. There's just a lot of police presence out there. It's there during the daytime, and it's more so there on the nighttime, during the nighttime. So as I was explaining earlier, within the 1 month of this enhanced coverage that we have going on within that zone, there's been a huge amount of arrests and enforcement. It's just been a lot of work being done over there within that area to make sure that things of that nature, the violent crimes of that nature, don't happen.
Yeah, I know it's for as long, it's about 20 some years it's been like that, you know, that.
Yeah, it's a very busy neighborhood up there. It's very busy. There's a lot of traffic. There's a lot of stores. There's a lot of restaurants and nightlife activity, if you will, going on there. A lot of people visit that area, Dykeman, 207th Street, Dykeman Street, Broadway is right there. Seaman Avenue is right there. It's a very business-oriented corridor as well, which attracts a lot of vehicular and foot traffic there. And that opens it up for the perpetrator to commit the crimes when there's so much opportunity available, which is our focus, to flood the area with officers and do enforcement and effect arrest where we can.
Yeah, I have a vague idea based on my own personal experience in the area, but what percentage out of community cars and traffic goes through those blocks in your sense of police?
I've been here in this command for 6 odd years now, and I work different tours. And so you're asking what, like the percentage of cars
of that traffic, just traffic in general, that is not from this community that passes through that corridor.
It's really busy because you got to look at it as the highway to the west and east of it. You have the Harlem River Drive, and you have the Hudson Parkway, Henry Hudson Parkway, and then you have the two bridges that are right within like less than a mile away, which could be there. Chuck, do you mind taking this? This is like, so that brings a lot of attention there and a lot of traffic.
Yeah, and I also feel as though, and I'm not sympathetic to anything, but just making sure that our community has a better handle on these crime activities. But I think there's a lot of outsiders, and I don't want to call it outsiders in a bad sense, but there's a lot of people that see that as a fertile area to come in and do certain things. And I get a little taken aback by calling our community crime rating, but it might be just a place in which a lot of these people from outside of our community like to come in and hang out and do whatever they do. And I think that's what's important, that you identify, the who's who and sort of like prevent a lot of what's happening.
No, yeah, that's like if you look at the West 207th Street Bridge, it's a very short bridge which will connect Manhattan to the Bronx. So one of the things we do is we'll do, especially on the weekends, we'll do vehicle checkpoints. We'll set up vehicle checkpoints. And that kind of like puts a little bit of check there to see who's coming in and inbound and outbound type of traffic. So that kind of like gives you like a visual perspective of what is going on.
Okay. Thank you. From the 33rd, I guess he'll be back. But in the meanwhile, while the question is posed from organization On Point, Mr. Perry, still with us?
Right. Hello. Yes, I'm definitely still here. And I'm really excited to be able to join into the community board meetings. For those who don't know, my name is Taekwon Perry. I'm the field service manager for On Point NYC. I primarily work in the Washington Heights area. Pretty much everything south of Fort Tryon Park to everything north of the very end of High Bridge Park. A little unprepared. My director usually does these meetings, but I would love to leave my contact information to make sure I get the invites to the following meetings. And if anyone has any direct questions about syringe litter in Washington Heights and dealing with the drug users who live in the street and the homeless, because that's primarily what I do as the outreach and public safety team manager.
Yeah, let me bring you to speed a little. I think in the last meeting, we asked, I'm assuming he's your supervisor,
yes.
Forgetting Rivera, I think could be his last name, to bring us an update as to the plan that they were about to roll out and implement for the syringe cleaning situation that a lot of our community residents were, posing a lot of complaints on. Is there? I'm sure that he brought it to your attention. Is there anything new on that?
So my team operates from around 6:30 in the morning to 4:30 in the afternoon. And when I say operate, that means I have about a number of 4 to 6 people with me on a day shift. And what we do is we primarily focus on the schools in the morning. So 179th from Amsterdam to Wadsworth, including School in the Square, Wadsworth to 187th, that's including Juan Pablo dos Fuentes, B. Fuller, St. Elizabeth School, and as well as George Washington High School. And besides the schools, we're also checking everything in the parks from Gorman Park, Fort Tryon Park to High Bridge. Excuse me, I'm also watching my son as I'm going through this.
It's okay.
Yeah. Bennett Park, J Hood, even the bike path and the walkway under the Henry Hudson Highway. We call that the zigzag, and through High Bridge Park. So I don't know exactly how much he's informed you guys about what exactly we do and where we're at primarily. But yeah, our mornings are taking care of those immediate schools that I mentioned, and our afternoons and later mornings are going through train stations. This is 181st the 1 train, 181st the A train, 175th the A train, 168th the AC1, and 191st 1 train, the train tunnel included, and as I also said, the parks.
Okay, and what exactly is your position there?
So I manage the outreach team. So I've been working on the outreach and public safety team in Washington Heights for about 3 years now, and it went from being about 2 people to about 6 in the last year. So I organize the schedule where we go. We also operate the kiosks that are in Highbridge Park, and that pretty much covers it. But well, we go out with the outreach fan you may see is black and yellow. We engage with the homeless and the drug using community. We have a drop-in center on 180th, so we have direct referrals to very low threshold health services, whether it be testing for STDs and STIs, to immediate help with housing, food. We have people who are trained for safe consumption areas. So we got places to refer. If you see someone using drugs in a spot that you don't like, you would not like them to be, you have a place to refer them to go. My team primarily does the syringe cleanup in the whole neighborhood, and we also give out food and health supplies and SCP supplies to the homeless and the drug using community.
Yeah, I want to ask you. No, I'm not going to ask you. I'm just going to read out loud
Sure.
a question from the Q&A session. What I'm going to, since you're parenting now, which I'm also a parent, I know what it's like. So I want you to, if you cannot answer it, at least you can take it with you, bring it to your superiors and bring it to the center so that they can meditate on it and come back next month with a question, with an answer. So basically, the question is whether, according to whatever the state of the law is, some laws aren't really working properly, and I quote. So it was admitted that a lot of the users or clients from the organizations are from different areas, Jersey, Connecticut, or downtown, or whatever it might be. So does the organization feel that Washington Heights has become more or less safe because of the services that you provide? You don't have to answer right now, but
that
I want
question was answered. Just before he answered, I just want to make clear that last month when Point came, they answered the question. And in Washington Heights, there's currently a drug use epidemic. So based on the response I was said last month, most of the people who use the services at Point NYC are people from Washington Heights and some people that do come from upstate. So it's not like if people are traveling from borough to borough, but based on what the director said last month, is people from Washington Heights and people from upstate who are coming to their location. But Taekwon could add if he.
for the sake of formality, and I appreciate your answer, but as you would understand, some people in this call may or may not have been present in the last presentation. So the reason why I read it is because he may or may not be the person. And because of the formality of this kind of meetings, I'll just read it and he may or may not answer it. So Mr. Perry.
Yes. I'm just trying to make sure I'm answering the correct question. So I'm looking at the Q&A, and are we referring to wait? Can we just reform the question, because I just want to be sure I'm answering the right question, because there could be so many ways.
Basically, the question is, do you feel like the organization attracts more people from outside of our community than that from people from the community? That's basically the question. Based on your data, the data that you've collected.
Yes. So I personally know a lot of people who come out from Jersey and Connecticut and upstate, and specifically that come to us a lot more from Jersey, because the bridge is right there. But there's tons of syringe exchange programs all through northern New York, in the Bronx, and it's it does bring in people, but it brings them in to be able to get like what they need supply wise for their health. If they're not able to get clean syringes somewhere, they have to go somewhere in order to be able to get the correct supplies to stay as healthy as possible. So I guess the answer is yes, it does attract users from areas where they cannot get those supplies.
Okay, Mr. Prairie, thank you for your answer, and I admire your your duality there by trying parenting and answer and be part of this meeting. So thank you for that, man. I really appreciate that. Keep up the good work. I am supporter of your organization.
Thank you. And if I can just get a chance to maybe plug in like my phone number that I use for work and my work emails. So if anyone else has any other question they would like, because I understand that the topic gets a little choppy and some people may want to have a conversation separate, but I also want to let people know if they're having issues with syringe litter, like in the neighborhood in Washington Heights, they can contact me and I will get back to them, and I will try to make it out to them as quickly as possible. Anybody who already has a relationship with me in Washington High School, they will tell you that I respond and I will get out there and I will help.
Okay, do you want to give out your number or email address?
Yeah, sure. So you can contact me through email at T as in Tom, P as in Paul, E as in Eric, R as in red, R as in red, Y as in yellow, at N as in Nancy, Y as in yes, H as in health, R as in red, E as in Eric, .org. That's T Perry at NYRE.org. And my phone number that you can contact me through is I'm just trying to make sure I got the right number, because sometimes I give out a personal number.
You can always put it in the chat too, if anything.
Where I cannot find where I can get access.
It's a Q&A section.
Yeah, maybe because it's not. He's probably doing it from his phone, so he probably.
Yeah, I'm doing it from my phone. But so my work number is 929-503-7000.
There you go. That's easy.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Yeah, Ms. Ferreira, you have a question.
Luana, thank you. Taekwon, thank you so much for that information. And this question is just for my own education and understanding. Why is it that when we have a center dedicated to needle exchange, how can we explain the excessive littering of needles? Like, we're not talking about 1 needles or 2 needles. We're talking about an excessive amount of needles in very specific places. Is it that multiple people are coming together? Is it people collecting needles and dumping them? It's just from my own understanding in terms of behavior.
Yes, I'm very familiar with this topic, and very similar to what you said, there are a myriad of reasons why there are excessive amounts of syringes and hazardous waste related to drug use in Washington Heights. So there are people who do collect their used syringes, and they're not mindful when they're leaving. That could be, you could see syringes in soda bottles, or you could see them in in liquor bottles. It could be a group of people, and it maybe it's near an encampment. The one person at the encampment may be taking care of theirs, but you have a group of people. It's hard to take care of all that. You see things like that at the synagogue on 179th. I know someone who cleans the area when they're there, but a lot of people use that area. So that's where we kind of come in. So it's definitely like an education. It's definitely like an educational thing. It's like having the opportunity to talk to the individuals about cleaning up like what they're leaving behind. I understand that's like difficult, but that's kind of what we do, and I try to give people the tools to be able to have those conversations if they need to. We distribute fit packs, which are very small black boxes. People could fit a day's use of syringes in there. And it's just the reality of the neighborhood. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of drug users in the neighborhood. We try our best to give them everything they need to safely use and also safely leave the area the way it's supposed to be, with no caps and no syringes. And we don't win every single battle, but we try our best. And it's really on education, trying to get people to us and to understand how they should be cleaning up after themselves, and give them the tools to be able to do that, and put them around people who do that. That's really the key and the solution to it.
Thank you.
No problem at all.
Last question. Do you guys also do the cleanup in the 181st Street and the one train station on the platform?
Yes. We go to 181st, both 181st, the A train, the 1 train, and the train tunnel around the same time on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We go around 11:30 to about 1 o'clock. And for 191st, the 1 train, sometimes we're able to get to that early in the morning as well. We kind of, that early in the morning, I'm a little shorthanded, so I kind of focus on just the school. So we really don't get a chance to get to the train stations for sure every morning, but we're there by the afternoon.
Yeah.
Could you share Jason's emails before you go?
Yeah, sure. Jason's email is jason@cornerproject.org. I could type it in the Q&A, right?
Yeah, if you have access to it from your cell phone.
Oh man,
it's kind of tough, but
yeah,
you can, it'll be okay.
Okay. I'll see if I could possibly type it in somewhere. But yeah, his is literally jason@cornerproject.org.
Okay, Mr. Perry, is there anything else that anyone else would like to add? Questions that you may or may not have? On my end, on my behalf, thank you for answering what appears to be sensitive questions by community members who have real preoccupations and how they see how things are, pretty much rolled out, and will not shouldn't be able to be held accountable for just about every syringe that appears anywhere. But I think that it's also fair to say that on a majority of the people in our community feels as though we can all, as a community, do a much better job at just feeding you information, calling you, and let you know. So, Mr. Perry, thank you once again, and I'm gonna move on to new items. Sue Peters has been on the bench, waiting for a minute or two to talk about something in regards of the public safety issues that we've been discussing for the past 30 minutes. Chanel, can you promote Miss Sue Peters as a panelist so that she can talk to us briefly?
Oh, thank you all very, very much as well.
Thank you. Take care of your boy, if it's a boy. Peters, can you hear us? Ms. Peters, you have to unmute yourself.
Hello.
Go ahead. There you go.
Oh, great. You can hear me. Terrific. Thank you.
No problem.
Let me just say, I'm a member of a local organization in the city called New Yorkers for Wired Tech. And we've been talking at different community board meetings around the 5 boroughs because informing people that the City Department of Technology has a contract with the technology companies, and they're installing on our city sidewalks. They will be installing up to 4,032 feet jumbo multiple antenna poles. Multiple antennas mean at the top of this 32-foot pole on the city sidewalk will be this pod, and inside the pod will be 3 or more antennas from different telecom companies. And this is 5G, which is more powerful than what we have now. And I just wanted to let people know, one of the boards that had a public meeting was Queens Community Board 1, and they had a hearing about these jumbo poles. And they first had a presentation from the Office of Technology from the city, and it included someone representing the telecom private corporations. And then we got a chance to present, and we had 3 excellent presenters, along with a police officer, New York City police officer, whose life had been dramatically affected by the installation of wireless antennas in front of his home in Queens. And the presentation was recorded, and we've sent around to all the community boards an invitation to listen to the presentation, and it has the particular minutes and seconds when you can listen to what the different people reported. And it's incredibly informational. In fact, one of the speakers was a New Hampshire commissioner from the state of New Hampshire passed a bill that created a commission that said, we want you to investigate the implementation of 5G into the state of New Hampshire. And they did that for 1 year. And he talks about what they found out, and it's incredibly informational. So I just wanted to tell everybody on your committee to please, if you have time, listen to some of the speakers, and I can send the description of what's in this Queens Community Board 1 presentation, and it has the link to the recording of it, and it has the minutes and times when you can go right to those minutes and times and hear the reports of the different people. It's incredibly important for the health of your community, especially for the health of your community. Thank you.
Thank you. In fact, we've been, I think they just touched home last month. And they were supposed to have a presentation in front of our health committee, but I think they backed out last minute. I think that something happened that we may or may not know of the real facts, but they're not pursuing it at this point. But as you said, I think we should be ready for what's coming. They're not just gonna bow down and move away. They are gonna continue and get their antennas posted up. So thank you, Susan. Thank you for being so patient. And we're
Yes.
gonna take that information and spread it out.
Can I send this email to you, Elisa?
Yeah, of course. I'll give you my email. I'll give it as an answer to Miss Martin, I guess is their answer. Their last name.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone has any questions here about this brief presentation on the 5Gs in our city? Ms. Fraser, Barbara, thank you for being here. Go ahead, Barbara.
Could you just briefly, in maybe a few sentences?
Can you repeat that again, Barbara? We weren't able to hear you properly. Barbara, go ahead. Hello, Barbara. Okay, couldn't hear Barbara, so she left. So, do you guys have anything else to add to our meeting? I hear silence. Jumina, Luana. Anything else?
Nope, I don't have nothing to add.
No, nothing else to add.
Okay, so we're gonna call it a night. It was an hour and almost an hour 15 minutes of our times. So hopefully, Rabbi, how are you?
I'm good. There's so much information that comes out in this hour and 20 minutes, though.
Yeah, learned how you like the presentation from Superintendent Miller.
I was clapping for that one. That was really cool.
Oh, that was you clapping in the back?
Yeah, that was you clapping. Yeah. That was really cool.
I didn't realize that they did as much as they do. I mean, you see the building, but you just look at it as a jail, but you don't really know what's happening.
Yeah, that's really cool stuff.
That was pretty cool. Yeah. So hopefully Superintendent Miller will share it with us. So any of you that's interested, will shoot you an email. So guys, call the meeting for adjournment. Great night.
Seconded. Yeah.
Okay, great night. Bye-bye.